on these stars and kind of find out, what kind of program do they have, who is the main contact over there, and what departments they're running in. Here, they're just running in physics. So that math inquiry says, maybe I won't contact Larry. That was a random click. And this one, we don't know, none that we know of. So these guys haven't started yet. Okay, let's say that. You better get over there and update the info. So then this one's running biology and chemistry, not physics. And so anyway, this just gives you a sense, gives you a contact, and then you can email them and maybe, try to hook up or learn something or invite them to talk at your university. And so that's one way that we're beginning to facilitate collaboration. And then this is international. I mean, you can find, there's not a lot of them, but as you scroll this way, you can start to find, what are you can find dots. There we go. And in various places. Do we have anyway, we have people starting programs in Ireland, Scotland, and Japan. And so Singapore as well. So this is where we're at, and that's what's available at this site right now. Here's another bit of information you might want. If you click down here to view overall statistics, you can kind of get a census of what's going on nationally. You can find out how many departments total are running in the U.S. And which departments. And, this is really useful information if you want to go and, to your engineering dean and say, well, there are 7 other engineering programs that are running these things. And then you can go try to figure out which ones they are so that you can locate them and talk to these people. You can get all these statistics that are really useful for grant proposals as well as for making the case. This is where I got a lot of information for the graphs that we presented yesterday. You can see the various ways that people are compensated, that LAs are compensated, the number of programs over time, the years the program started, and kind of some more information about how they're running the program, and also like how they're funding the program. You guys saw that grant yesterday. I think these numbers change every day, so there's no question that the graphs we showed yesterday are probably a little bit different than these numbers here, because this is dynamically updated, and so you can continue to get updated information about the programs throughout the nation. Use them to your advantage, but making sure that you continue to update your information. So you'll receive emails periodically from LA Central asking you to update your information before your star disappears or something very threatening. We're scary. And out of fear. No, I'm just kidding. But definitely keeping our information updated, knowing how much you, or hopefully we come to depend on other people maintaining updated information so that we can make the case that we need to make for all different kinds of reasons, ranging from funding to faculty buy-in. So that's where we are there. Here are some international programs that are beginning to run. This would have been easier than looking for stars. And just a list of all the various programs. In some cases, you have arch rivals or rival universities or what universities that your universities are trying to keep up with. It's always nice to be able to compare them to yours when you're talking to those people who care about that thing. More later when we talk about expanding and sustaining the program. So that's the site right now, and we're continuing to update it, improve it, and hopefully with your input. We thought we would kind of like open source programming, kind of get it started, and then see what kinds of needs we have as a community, and update as a result of those needs. So that what is used and useful are the things that we update. So then, another link that we have on this site is to go to a Google site that contains resources that we share with one another. One of the things, actually, how many people have experience using Google Docs or Google Sites? Okay, so we all know that whether we like it or not, we kind of are having to learn the Google Doc method. And the Google Sites method becomes imperative as your Google Doc folder gets your Google Drive gets filled up. So now we've moved to more Google Sites. This is a very initial attempt to provide some resources that will allow us to begin to mold this into something that we're going to use regularly. And so I'm going to give you a quick overview, then I'd like you to just look around at it in your computers if you can, and then maybe even make some comments within it and practice uploading documents if you haven't got that practice already. And we've got a lot of expertise in the room that can help you if you don't know how to do this. So, for example, the manual that we handed out yesterday is all here online. And that can be really useful as you point your colleagues towards this kind of stuff. You don't have to reprint it. You can get it in each of its sections here on this site right now. Some things are not going to be modifiable, like like some of the original manual, but other things are going to be in Word docs so that you can, like the sample letters for students and acceptance letters, rejection letters that you would want to modify for your university. Okay, so that's the manual. Look at me, I'm trying to make sure I know everything here. Program administration, this is if you're running the program, you're going to need a lot of this stuff, at least to get started if you don't have it already. And there's just some kind of screenshot of our application system, and we'll be happy to share the code and all that with you. And there's also key dates, kinds of nuts and bolts, and a bunch of orientation agenda, the LA contract, the LA sign, materials that we use in the orientation, as well as the slides. And then we also have a section on recruiting and hiring, where everything from the agenda to the rejection letter, And I mean, why would you have to rewrite another one if you just download this one, change it to your letterhead, and send it to the student? It's just it's just so much better if you don't have to invent anything new. At least that's been my experience, and therefore we're still using our 2002 materials. Just kidding. We try to update often. But I mean, that's going to be a big deal for us, is that as you make modifications and improvements that you upload and share with the rest of us, the kinds of new good ideas you have, because we want to be able to capture that, and we'll share everything we have, but we really appreciate that if you share it as well. So then we'll have various data talks, and all the things that we had today are going to be up here. We just have one right now, but the others are in other sections, so there'll be duplicates in various sections. And, just kind of stuff from the pedagogy course, all the stuff we use, hopefully movies, etc. Papers that have been published about the LA program, and we're hoping you'll upload your papers as well, because we're all going to need those. Everybody needs those. And then the discussion board will be developed over time, but this is where we're going to start to have an organizational structure where we can contribute resources that you've modified. So this is a suggestion. There's a suggestions document. Look at this. Very sophisticated. We just developed this the other day, Lori and I, because we thought, hey, let's just get a Google Doc started. So now that you look around on the site, poke around at all this stuff, get some ideas about what needs to be there or anything, you can type them over here. So that's what we're going to do. Unless Lori's going to say, nope, that is not what we're going to do.
To facilitate that, so essentially right now we have the site viewable by anyone with the link. So I just sent out an email, I hope, to everybody in this room with the link. So you should be able to get onto this site. You should be able to look at stuff. But we are figuring out how to change it so that you can actually edit some things. I think to do that, we need to actually have your email address that for us to change the permissions for the site so that you can then edit. So in the same workshop, this Google site is going to be restricted to members of the Alliance. It's not going to be out there for everybody, who has the link to see. So we will be changing the permissions using the information you give us so that when you log in, you can access this site, and then we'll be able to also add page-level permissions where you can contribute resources and things like that.
Excuse me. I run a site like that for another project, and in order for you to be able to edit, you need to give a Gmail or a Google email. That email you will be able to enter, but then we can't get it there. So people to edit need a Gmail or a Google, or it will not work.
Okay, so you need a Gmail or Google account.
Because it's located at CU Boulder. Because it's one of our accounts, it has to be Gmail or Google. Got it.
Because it's a Google site that you want them to edit.
Right.
But
But
it's
it's
a
like, okay.
If it's a Google site and you want them to edit, you need the Gmail account. And if you want to share with these people, it will look like it works for you. I've done it. Yeah, it looks like it works, and they never get it. They don't know how to get it.
Yeah, so because we're still a little bit unsure, like our university has an account on the Google thing, so I can share with anybody at CU Boulder, and they're able to edit with their CU Boulder email. But it may very well be the case that when you move beyond institutions, that you have to go to the Gmail. So for now, I think it'll be useful to just use Gmail or Google. Yeah.
I've done a lot of Google sites and I've shared them with non-Google users. It's hinky.
That's
They
what I
don't
thought
always know that
too.
they're logged in.
Well, we're going to
But
give it
it
a hell of a
works.
shot right now.
That's why we're all in the same room together right now.
That's why we're doing it now, so that we